Alrighty, let's get this started.
I gotta.
Yeah, we're doing the commentary, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just go ahead and roll to you guys first. I'll get 10.
10, pretty big number. Bigger than 6.
All right, so I will be on the play, which will kind of help. SS4 is a deck that not many people are really familiar with, but the goal of it is to ramp fast into a blue one turn 3 and hopefully smash your opponent in. Green's usually a bad matchup, so what I'm looking for is either a good start, UI Ultra Instinct Gokus. As you can see in my hand, I don't really have much of that, so I'll keep one of these just to have something to draw on first turn, just because this deck kind of needs it. Ideally, you don't want to give them anything because Cell thrives whenever you have something to kill.
All right, and green, like I said, green's typically a bad matchup for SS4, it seems sometimes. But in this particular matchup, I think SS4 is pretty favored. Mine is the combo version of the deck. I'm just trying to turn populate the guy. And one Trunks is real good. So this is the big tech from the new from the new tournament. This guy gets a charge for without energy exhaust whenever you have 3 more androids in your graveyard, which this deck does real well. And then this card you can play for free if you have a multicolor charge and your life is a 4 less. So the turn you go for your perfect force cell, you can play focus breakthrough and like stop their Deborahs or stop like if they have like a card that like, comes in and like counter the cell like Hellfighter 17, like, oh, that guy's, can't do it, lose a double strike. If they have anything they want to play in response to your 7 drop, you can focus breakthrough it. But that being said, there's really only one card we want to keep here, and it's this. We really want to find 1 drop androids, and none of those are there.
Trying to see if I can hopefully get a Ultra Instinct, so I don't have to worry about playing that thing in. So, all right, so as you can see in my hand, I unfortunately did not get a UI, but this is kind of your next best. You can actually play the super combo to draw a card, and then you can also use it as a combo when you're on the attack. Since I'm going first, I'm going to be playing this just a cantrip. Really not something you want to do against Cell, but unfortunately, I just need to dig cards. This card is basically I want to try and hold on to this as long as possible for the turn 5 play. So it gives me it basically Godzilla isn't in the game, but it gives me another turn to kill them unless they're Cell Zenoing. Then there's really not much I can do about that. So we're just gonna hope to kill. So what we're going to charge is we're going to charge the SS4 Vegeta Rising because this card's not very strong in this matchup, and I'm sure you can pay 6 mana to get 4 cards. It's just not worth the upfront investment to try and aim for this in the game. And because I'm doing this, I'll play Burnish Heart, draw a card, and pass my turn.
All right, we're going to draw. We're going to charge one of these. We have 2 of them. And also, because we played a battle card, we kind of get to have like a really nutty turn. Sort of. Maybe not crazy. We actually want to charge here so we can. It's kind of confusing. Um, Yeah, actually, so there's like a lot of lines all of a sudden. Because basically, if I, so probably want to charge this actually, because I can play this and activate its ability to put underneath. I can put this underneath the leader ability, and so killing a card, I can play this. So I can actually awaken turn 1, which I think I'm just going to go ahead and do, because being bigger against SS4 makes it a little harder for him to hit me and a little harder to wrap. So we're going to start here. We're going to play an Android 8.
Yep.
Draw a card. We're going to activate it to effect, put under our leader. Our leader awakens if I'm at 4 less life, or I have 3 cards underneath. So when I activate sales ability, I can put a card underneath it to draw a card, or an android underneath to draw a card and blow up a guy, kill him. I have 2 autos that trigger here. My cell starting assimilation is card is killed by leader skill, so I can play it tapped or in rest mode. And then Android 17, 18, Absorb from Movement. I get to play it when it's KO'd by any skill, not just my leaders. Very important to remember, this only gets played if it's by your leader skill, or this gets played by any skill.
And so this is why you don't want to give a Cell a dude on turn 1 because now he's going to hit me for crit. And I'm either going to have to combo out a card now, do -1, or he's just going to hit me a damage, which is pretty much a free damage. And then this, if he wants to, since he can awaken on this turn because this will go under and draw a card, now he's going to be able to change this up into the 4 drop for free and draw cards. And if he wants to, can change it up to the 8 drop on turn 1. Puts a lot of pressure on the SS4.
It's real not bad. We are going to attack with a 10 crit, no combo.
All right, and due to my hand size, you can kind of see my hand is actually really not great at this situation. SS4 does want to get to a 4 to awaken, so this is kind of not in the worst it could be, but not drawing the card. No combo on my hand, I'll take the crit.
This card, if it's in play, it has the ability to go into the leader, and I can draw a card. And now I can awaken. When I awaken, I go down to 5 life, which is good. It puts me in a homicidal clone range real early. Also, now I can crit him again, which I will. I'll activate my leader ability. I blow up nothing, but my leader doesn't crit in 5k for the turn. And we will attack life. When my leader attacks, I can put a card underneath it. Perfect Force Cell. The whole combo of the deck is get Perfect Force Cell under the leader and then activate Retro Rejuvenation to play 5 mana. So we just got that under there now, and there's no way to interact with this, at least that I can think of. So I get to draw 2 cards. We're going to leave it at 20 credit.
And here's the situation why giving so me having to play this dude, play a guy on turn one to draw a card to kind of dig into something to pressure on next turn. I did get my UI to pressure on next turn, but now we're in a bad situation. I can't really do anything. I have to actually take the crit, but now he's so far ahead. His homicidal clones is online. Vegeta really struggles with a deck that actually negate the first 2 attacks, or they can actually generate a blocker. So this is going to be a pretty hairy situation to see if I can try and dig myself out of this hole.
I'm going to activate my level 1. I can absorb an Android 17 or 17, which this happens in both. Search my deck for a 4-drop multicolor cell to play it. That cell is a 16k barrier, and when I play it from the deck or my hand, I get to draw a card. Just go ahead and give us a free card. No, and there's really not much else we want to do here. I can pay an energy to go into that 20k, which isn't necessarily a bad plan. I think I kind of flubbed a little bit since I didn't have certain things. Should check the hand a little bit better. I should have done this prior to attacking with my leader, so I can untap this as I have it as a block zone. But you live and learn. We'll be passing through it.
All right, I'll go ahead and draw. And normally, when you see kind of cards like this, you can Realm of the Gods can also pull you out of situations, but unfortunately, Saw has the ability where it's really hard for me to remove. So tapping the energy to kind of remove it isn't going to really help. So all I can realistically do, with Jiggy in my hand, is I've got to try and ramp or draw into something that can pressure him. More than likely, he's going to homicidal clone or negate it, but I still got to. You don't really have a choice; you have to push through to it. So I'll still go leader.
So if you have to have one of those cards for that to work, no
All
negates.
right, not always works. So we'll draw with my leader effect. Now this is where you want to get to with SS4. You want to always get to the combat step because now I can play this. I'll play Ultra Instincts. That will make my leader get 15k, and I will draw a card. And then uh, if I'd known I was going to get through, again, this is a risky play on turn two because if I don't get through, now I give him something else to attack with, and you just get a repeat of the turn. So I think in my situation, I need to make sure this hits. So I'm going to go ahead and combo off the Zeno to get up to 35. So either make him burn a bunch of cards so I can hopefully fight a bit better. This will also turn on Sparking if I get a D magic so that I can defend myself a little easier between his 20k crits and draw my cards as I get myself down to 4.
So in this situation, you see, according to my hand, I want to take the life.
All right, and that's kind of what we want
But
SS4 to do.
so I can also activate this to detach. I can attach 1 card from this during the battle phase to untap it. I can get a blocker. It's not attacking again this turn. It's not really relevant. So, but I could for future reference.
All right, and Vegeta's auto, the best reason to play the deck. Whenever it deals damage with an attack, the leader actually has to hit. You can look at the top card of your deck. Now, this is something you can remember. You don't actually have to play it, but most of the time you're going to. As long as it's mono blue, you can play it. I obviously want to ramp it. Kind of a bad card to get. Dirty Burst is actually kind of okay to try and survive. Also, another way you kind of try and survive the cell turn. Not as good as obviously just God stealing it, but I mean, it works in a pinch. I will may not be doing anything else for his turn and pass turn.
Charge here. We are going to do some stuff. Um, that deck has really good answers to our plan, which is just play Perfect or Cell. So we have to go the other route, which is hit him in the face real kinds of hard. We're going to start here.
All right. So he's swinging with his the battle card first, which isn't that bad. Like I said, you do want to get to 4 with SS4, so I'm not going to negate the attack.
I'll detach 1. When you're detaching, that's another really important part of this deck that a lot of people don't really pay too much attention to, and it can end up really biting you later. Once you're detaching, you need to set up for other cells and other things you're doing. So, like, let's say I've drawn all of the ones with this in my deck, or all of this in my deck. I need to make sure, like, to detach, make sure things are going in the right place. This card can be the leader and such. If I have, like, I don't have an Android 18 around, I can, like, need to just make sure you're detaching the right things because you're trying to set up multiple cells. But I'll attach there just 20k.
Don't you have to do? Oh no, it's only 1 for that.
Correct.
All right. So I'm going to take the damage, not combo. As I know, he's got a leader swing that's coming up soon. That's actually probably going to be crit after all of this.
I will attack. Okay.
All right. Again, so he's actually attacking with the second time. So I know now he's trying to beat me down. Basically, he wants to stop me from getting up to Kale, which can kind of kill him since he's at 4 now. Unfortunately, I want to go down to 4, so I will have to say no negates.
Just 20.
and I will take the damage.
All right. I can detach here. Get rid of purple, but the problem is I will get rid of purple for sell. And I still want to have that like as a backup plan just in case. Like that is not my plan this game. I'm kind of just to hit him really hard and beat him through sheer card advantage with sell. Um, that's what I'm going to be trying to do. But we got to get there first for it to work. So we're just going to attack.
All right, so he didn't have an android to play, so either I'm knowing he's trying to set up to play an android play, or he's trying to dig for one. Uh, Kind of the same thing. I don't want to negate. I'm not going to negate this since it's not crit, so I don't have to worry about losing the card. So I'm going to get it if I want to take the hit. More than likely, I'm going to try not to take the hit, but we'll see what he does. All right, no negates.
Here, two. Um, um, so that kind of opens up things. This card's really good in this situation because now instead of having to pay an energy for this and go up the chain again, I can just do this. And also, this gives me a lot more advantage. So I'm just going to leave that at 15.
All right, so I saw him put underneath one of his pieces in there, so that means he's probably drawn at least another one in there, or it's just an extra card based on what's on his hand. So I know he's probably trying to make another 8 drop. So what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to go ahead and activate Awaken to draw a card. SS4 is a deck. Awaken as soon as you can. You actually want to be on the backside, and I'll explain that more on my turn. Now he's still on 15, so I'm going to just combo off. As you can see, I drew another extra Godsling, so this will signal to him that I have a Godsling in hand. But it doesn't really matter if I don't have a Unison in play anyway. It will also save my life. You want to try and stay at 4 so that you just don't flat out die to his Double Striker or the full on aggression if he makes 2 of these on the turn. So I'll combo out to 20.
So I'm going to go ahead and I need to attach. Do I attach? I don't want to attach here. There's options I can attach here just to get this guy in the graveyard, but I'm not going to the 8 drop this turn. I'm only going to 4 drop, so I don't actually have to give me a little more flexibility. I'll play Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta, Peerless Warrior. I'm sure all of you know by now the combo of the deck, but basically it's get to 7 markers, play Perfect Force Cell, and then -7, put them to 0 cards. That's sort of your kill turn. Atypical matchups, but blue switches the gears up. I could attack first, but I want to make sure this comes down, and I don't think he has any cards that he could play in the battle step, but better safe than sorry. I have a Unison, and you don't have any battle cards, so I will play Cell, Absorption, and Onslaught.
All right.
I will try to absorb it.
I have no response to that.
All right, so I will hopefully play a 4 drop from my deck, which I do. Didn't get never punished.
Good.
Then this gets a draw like I did last time, and then also whenever I activate a unit skill, I get to draw for the Unison. I went through some really good cards here. Things are looking kind of well, plus. This gives all your mono green battle cards revenge. If this gave your green battle cards revenge, this deck would be absolutely broken. But it's not. So the plus is almost always relevant. But remember, it does give you your green battle cards if you happen to have any out. They do get revenge. Attack 5.
All right, so this is actually kind of an awkward attack. As you kind of see in my hand, I've got some ancillary cards. Like I've got some answers for his next turn. So what I'm trying to do is try and stay as high as I low total. So I have a couple options. I think I can just flat out negate the attack if I want, which I think is probably the best play in this situation, just to not take the damage. Because again, at this point in the stance, he's trying to aggravate me down, so I'm trying to stay above 3. Also, this unison also puts on ancillary pressure on the fact that if I don't either kill him before this thing gets to 7 or 6, this thing's going to crit and rip, and I have to discard 3 cards in my life, and SS4 would draw a lot. So in this situation, I'll go ahead and activate Dimension Magic by hard casting it. You don't want to take this spark because, again, if you can try not to go to 3 so early in the game. So any response to that?
Nope.
All right, so unfortunately, I'm wasting the energy that I'm untapping, but to preserve the life, it's actually worth it.
I will pass turn after that.
All right. Technical difficulties. All right, I'll go ahead and draw. So now this is the turn where you want to try and stabilize. As far as my charges are going, I would really like to keep the Golden Avenger. But as far as everything else in my hand, the rest of it just helps me survive turns a bit better. And I only really want the Golden Avenger on turn 5 if I don't have a Unison. Thankfully, though, I did draw my Boo Unison. So we'll go ahead and play that.
Response.
Now, this is where I can hopefully kind of start getting a handle on the game. I'm going to plus or minus 0 to draw a card. So now this unison lets me kind of either pressure his stuff, his unison, or his life. Ideally, you want to start pressuring the life, but unlike most decks, you want to attack first with a Vegeta SS4 Vegeta leader when you're awakened because he has an auto that if they activate a counter skill, which he's probably gonna have dormant potential, so my attack's gonna be limited. It'll restand the leader so that if it's a full negate, you can swing again and try and pressure it in again, or you just have another leader swing on top of that. So I'll go ahead and swing with my leader.
I'm gonna let this attack through. He's not gonna have any more attacks this turn. He has no way to untap energy other than like I can't think of anything. Xeno Super Combo only works on my turn to untap energy. I don't really need Dormant here. Not that I have Dormant. Cough, cough. And also, if he tries to go like hog hand, like if he's signaling that he really, really wants to connect with a hit to ramp, like he needs to get to 600 or something, I have a lot of ways to get out of that attack. And then when he attacks with his unison, he gets to restand his leader because I negate the union swing. Uh, Homicidal clones will just do all the work for me there. So no negates here.
Right, so I'll draw a card. So SS4, once you get at least you want to try and get 2 hits if you can. But unfortunately, I'm just not drawing the cards to kind of get there. No more SS4s, no more God Realm of the Gods, and also dropping the unison against this deck when I'm behind will hopefully be my Cat mechanic. So I will not combo. So we'll probably just burn one card.
I'm not looking for too much here. So I can get rid of one of these. This is just sort of fodder at this point. He's not really going to play with battle cards that I'm really killing, and also 10K is not really a lot. What's my combo?
All right. So I kind of figured. So now I'm going to swing with the unison. So now at this point, I can put pressure on to try and drop him the 2 so that all my double strike threats on the next couple of turns will be pretty good. And he
I'm
has
going to
no
play
more.
some solid clones, and he's going to withstand his leader with his leader skill that we talked about earlier, and then I'm going to block with this token that I made.
Yep. And you always want to push it because, again, it's a free ramp, but I'll get it through there. So now I have no more attack, so I will pass my turn.
All right, untap. And remember, just in case it ever is relevant, it's not super important, but this Majin Buu does get the ability to untap an energy at the beginning of my turn. That happens after I charge. So always wait until they're done charging because it's the right thing to do.
And if you ever
Uh,
have any questions on your opponent, did you skip charge? And if they say yes, then you go ahead and do it as well.
so I have a lot of this. I already have 2 of these in play, so I don't need. I actually only play 3 of the 8 drop on my list. I'm never getting to 17 of these. So let's go ahead and charge here. This hasn't come up because I've been so aggressive. This card kind of looks clunky right now. But in a pinch, this is another battler. Also, like just the situation hasn't come up really for me to start being aggressive. Another thing about this deck is it plays Baby Hatchak, the secret rare, the one we all love. And that card is something I got to look out for because it can just stop a turn and it's real frustrating. So I have 2 lines here. I can either pressure his life or pressure his unison. Neither are great. Cards in hand.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards at the moment.
So I have 11 cards in hand. Like, Cell's going to outvalue you most of the time between drawing from here, drawing cards from later effect. The cantrips that go under draw cards. But the problem is, it's like this unison is going to just generate a lot of advantage. So we'll start off by absorbing here.
All right, I will have no response to that. So even though it is, I think it's a limit one, right?
It is.
So I could technically Godsend here, but again, he already has one in play, so it's not going to help. Another thing about blue is he has to kind of play around a couple cards, ready to rumble, SS4, God Sealing. So like basically at this point, it's on him to try and kill me. You're trying to just survive until about turn 6.
Ability to draw from union.
Yep.
Okay. Wait for a second. All right, so did this, drew the card. This is actually kind of good. Can sort of sneak some stuff in with this. We'll see how that goes later. We'll go ahead and plus, like I said, doesn't matter. Virtually never comes up. Technically, you should always wait till the end of your turn to do this, but it ain't gonna come up. Um, so we'll start with the one that has more guys. Right? Attack, life.
Alrighty, so now here comes a choice. There's a couple ways to play this. I can try and just do D magic to ready up energy to throw down Ready to Rumble. The reason being that is Ready to Rumble will get around as Focus Breakthrough, or not Focus Break,
This focus break.
Focus Breakthrough. Or I can try and just slam down the God Slate to keep the Dimension Magic up. The difference is this will negate the attack, and he'll have to attack with his other unison, his other 8 drop in order to restand. And if this goes through, it almost will just end his turn. So this is usually the best play to try and play through, even if he's got Focus Breakthrough, because he'll either pay the mana or take the life for it.
Not this time.
All right, so I didn't get punished for that. When you're playing this, remember that Cell will have focus breakthrough to kind of stop your floodgates for this. So now I'm in a pretty good position because I didn't have to use this. If this had missed, I would have used this. So remember, you can sequence this because this is an auto. So now it's on him to figure out how to put more pressure on me with more than just his leader.
So that sort of stops a lot of return. So SS4 is going to be real good about that. We're going to detach 2 and kill this guy. Start there. Uh, Same as before, killed a guy, get to play this guy for free, and in response to this guy,
Nope,
and you can play this guy for free in response to this guy.
unfortunately not.
All right. We will attack. So we don't want to attack with this thing. We want to put this in our leader. We might want to go ahead and put it in a leader anyways. But there's like, there might be some situation we want to combo it. I don't think there will be, but there might be. But we want to restand this and put the 18, the 17 underneath it from here, so we can use this guy's effect. Um, that being said, I'll go ahead and just put it under for parity sake. We'll get another card in there, see what's going on. And then we will attack with leader.
Alrighty. So his leader has crit, so this is where the biggest decision you have to kind of make. Being a leader swing, I can either just throw with a D match to kind of negate and hope for another turn, or I can block with a unison. Ideally, you want to try and block with the unison as much as you can. Yeah, you want to try and keep it above 2 markers, but at the same time, you don't want to take a 20k crit damage because again, remember we're trying to stay above 3 life if we can help it. So I will do no negates, but I will activate my blocker on my unison.
Another reason you always want to block this attack. This deck has been known to run the Android 20 or the Doctor Zero that gives a Android double strike. Fun thing about that card, it can give this guy double strike to the end of turn, so he'll have a 20k dual attack double striker, effectively dual attack. So I need to put a Android under there to draw 2 cards, which we will. Um, we're going to go ahead and activate here. We're going to detach this lovely 17 to restand it. So now we have 2 blockers, so his leader can't get through. The instant is going to have a hard time getting through. And we sort of get to do our plan no matter what next turn to if we want to do this or wherever we want to go. We have a lot of options now. So I will just leave it at 20 on the unit.
All right, and you will take a marker, and we'll drop down to 3.
Um, we will go ahead and absorb, I believe. Yeah. So let's see if we have another 4 drop in the deck. I don't think we do. Yeah. So we'll pick this one up from the yard. And I've already drawn a card early in the turn when I turned it up. So here we can do a lot with our energy. We can do a lot with anything. We have a lot of options here. I'm just going to play an Android 18.
Yes, the response.
Just draw a card. Click this here. After expand, I'm gonna go ahead and put a Vegeta under here, signaling I can use the ability next turn. So now he might want to pressure my unison instead of my life. I'm only at 3 life, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. I can also dormant, and with my double blockers, I can just ensure this happens next turn if I really care to. If you have no way to actually just remove counters raw. So we have a lot of options here, just sort of mess with stuff. But on that note, we will pass.
All right, I'll go ahead and draw. So now we're in kind of a bind of a situation because I need to. We're essentially, as long as that thing is at 7, I'm at a virtual 3, which means I can't take a hit, and I'm also going to burn 3 cards before he attacks me, and he's coming up on turn 4. Another thing to consider is he's got an 8 drop and a 4 drop, so it doesn't happen often, but people can still sell Zeno before turn 5. Doing so gives a 40k attacker, so again, that makes me at a virtual 2, so I can't take any hits for the rest of the game, and I don't actually have any good clean answers. So unfortunately, this is kind of a rough point in the game. I don't know if I'll be able to get back because I have 2 choices. I can try and go punch through the unison, force them to block with these, and hopefully maybe draw some cards out. 5 mana for Kale isn't really that great because sure she can attempt to bottom at these, but she's going to detach 2 dudes or detach materials so that they don't move. And this one's almost out. And thankfully it's 2 for each one. And if he's got dormant, that also will just shut out the turn where I have almost no hope of trying to get through anything. So knowing that he's probably dormant, I want to pressure him to try and block with these. So we'll go ahead and swing with this on your unison.
I will dormant potential unleash. We're going to discard one of these guys.
All right.
Then I will block.
All right, so he dormant potential, so my leader's effect activates. He restands. He's still fighting. He's still in combat. We're still attacking Houston, so I will draw a card. So now I'm at the point where I wanted it. So unfortunately, this is kind of the best play I have to do. I will play Realm of the Gods Beerus. We'll try and bottom at the one that only has 3 material left.
So I will choose to say no to that.
So now, if I can find a way to get rid of that, that one will go again. And now I'm doing pressuring 25 on this, so I'll have to at least combo a super combo or 2 cards to kind of get out of the attack. And I still have my unison to go after.
Which we will. This card is just not particularly great against the deck. At least at this point in the game. It may be wrong, but um, I kind of also want to bottleneck this. But now we have the requirements for it. So this is another option, but I also want to leave open the opportunity to like put this under and then still have the ability to -7 next turn if he doesn't have like a lot of cards to do. So we're gonna go ahead and just put this down underneath.
So, and here's kind of a tough choice where I have. I can either try and swing with this on his leader, which is just going to block anyway, in order to try and force out a ramp. Which, if you had another Realm of the Gods, so you could bottom deck one of the 8 drops for boots in the material, or if you had a UI so that you can pressure killing whatever he blocks with, I would say go ahead and do that. But unfortunately, I don't have that. So the next thing I'm going to do is pressure the Unison because you want to try and either force him to block and burn cards to keep his guys alive, so that we go to hand parity since he's going into 4 and not 5. So I'm going to have my Boo Unison swing on your Unison.
Cards in hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at the moment.
We actually don't mind going through fairly low over here. We pretty much out combo all the stuff he does, typically speaking. So we're just gonna hold something.
All right. So unfortunately, he had another clone. So I will not do any response. The only thing I can do is pass, and what we're trying to do now is just survive. So I've got a couple of D magics that will kind of help. Ideally, I don't want to take my life because again, with this thing at 7, you're at 1 less life. So I'm at 3, and I've only got 6 cards, so we can rip half my hand next turn. So I will pass turn.
Draw. So we definitely have 3 androids in the yard now, even though it's exactly 3, so we can charge this guy free. Like I said, the big thing about this card is he makes Focus Breakthrough free if I'm less than 12. So I can take this last life before I die, Focus Breakthrough if I need to.
So I'll go ahead and reset my energy, and now I've got a blocker and my negates to hopefully try and fend this off somehow. Just remember, this thing's threatening, so you have to play around the fact that you only have 3 cards in hand.
So I'm going to attach 2 to give my leader 5k in crit. And then we're going to attack with this guy.
So we've got some triggers on here. So you always do your negates before you resolve your auto. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to try and resolve Ready to Rumble. It gets around Focus Breakthrough because it's a 20k instead of a 15k, and it costs 4 instead of 3, which gets around most other counter plays.
Oh, that is fine.
All right. And then as far as the boo trigger, I will not use it. So again, remember, he's going to the turn 5. If I can help it, I want to keep this thing at 2 or more markers to threaten him as far as to threaten his 5 round play next turn if I somehow don't kill him next turn.
So we're working on pretty low life, but we have a lot of blockers. Also, it's kind of okay to just pop this one. He only has 5 cards in hand now because Blade Ready to Rumble. Put him down to 2 cards. Like if he wants to stop the 5 drop play next turn, he'll have to keep Trunks. So since he signaled very clearly that he has a second Trunks, since he discarded one earlier to combo out of it, if he discards 3 cards and none of them are Trunks, then he probably kept a Trunks. Put like Trunks 1 card, and then he gets to draw up a card next turn, and he has to sort of kill me. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a lot of pressure or start beating through stuff. Like it's gonna be really hard for him to stop everything I'm doing. Hopefully. So let's go ahead and absorb here. We got Android 18 down here. Popping out. Because it's a Union Absorb, I get to draw a card. And so there's a couple lines here we need to think about, make sure. We definitely want to pay energy for this if possible. This gets to be free because we're Unison. It's not too big of a deal. I think we're just putting -7 here.
All right, so my hand's kind of limited, so I can either try and hold on to these 2 cards, which is the Godsling and the Kale, to try and kill him next turn or pressure through his things, or I can try and be defensive and hold on to the 2 D Magics or the Baby Hatchak. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, just play the Baby Hatchak and swing." Unfortunately, I might have to let the Baby Hatchak go in favor of holding on to a Kale and a D Magic to kind of get the best of both worlds. Because realistically, if I don't kill him next turn, I don't have enough resources to exactly combat him. So he's going to see I'm going to discard the Trunks and the Baby Hatch. That should signal him to me that I'm pretty desperate. He gets to choose one of my life, and he gets to look through it. And that's why it's dangerous because now I'm going to lose something that may have helped me out. And pretty good play, especially since I'm going on the turn 6 now, where I could actually use it to draw up to 4 more cards or ramp up to 4 more energy to get the kill up to 7 so that I can play the kill and bottom deck his board. But she also gets barrier and dual attack. So now I'm kind of in a sticky
Uh,
situation.
Relevance here. This card is just kind of like it's fine if he takes it, whatever. On my turn, it just sometimes some energy, not a big deal. This card does nothing, and this card he needs 7 energy, so he'd have to one have kept a Sensu Bean to make this card work. Which why would you? And he also has to find the card on his turn through his life, which that deck doesn't take its own life. So none of those cards are particularly helpful to him. But now, yeah, we're past turn.
All right.
I'll lose my energy.
So thankfully I ended the turn. Unfortunately, my draw did not help. It's just kind of an extra draw card. So I think I'm forced to probably just play this and then try and hope I can fill it out. Now, if he has another, if he try and kill, so essentially you want to try and kill him, but it's kind of hard with his immense number of blockers that he has in play. So I'm gonna go ahead and plus or minus 0 on the boo to see if I can draw something. Drew another cantrip, so not very helpful. So he's probably going to dorm potential me, but I've still got to try. We'll go ahead and start swinging off with the unison to try and get some things.
Dormant.
All right, my leader triggered, but it doesn't matter. I would have liked to swing this just a draw, but now he's going to be forced to block with this.
We will.
Since I can only attack one more time, I'm just going to go ahead and combo off this 25 to force some cards out of hand.
So we've already played this, and we're trying to win this turn, so we don't need this anymore. Draw 2 cards. That we did need though. That we'd love to see, and that he really has to kill us this turn now. That's exactly what we wanted to see on the hand there.
All right, so unfortunately, I don't think I can win this game anymore. I'm at 3, and I've only got 3 cards in hand. So his 5-drop play, he's probably not going to play it anymore because it actually have to, since I'm already at 3. He doesn't have his unison, so this play is actually a little safe. I can now threaten to have him remove all these cards or remove materials, which is probably what he's going to end up doing.
See if I show what this does.
If I play her below 7, it still bounces bottom decks 3 or greater.
Right. So this card just has to go. I have one equipment.
Well, it goes to the drop.
Oh, it kills it. I thought I put it on the bottom of the deck.
Yeah, but that's a card underneath it. It goes to
No,
the
this
drop.
is the A draw.
Oh, sorry.
And then these 2 guys, I'll happily detach 2 cards from underneath. Also, relevant note, I know we talked about it earlier about what to detach and stuff. You will never need this in your drop, almost ever. But there's exactly one situation, and it's super niche, and it only comes up under very, very bad situations. That's basically if you're wanting to play this card to pull one back. Um, but so at the end of the day, the last card being removed from this should be the 1-drop cell to start with.
Do you remove him from that one as well?
Yes, so this one was fully stacked.
Okay. But that one was tapped, right? No, it was the one that was tapped.
The one was
So obviously he's going to block this and just get attacked. The positive thing is I'm going to get rid of attacker. The negative is I'm going to try and survive the next turn at 3 life with his ability to play Stealth and rip the rest of the cards out of my hand, which is probably what's going to end up happening. As soon as I minus this, so he's probably going to try and kill this, but don't really have a choice. I'll swing on life. If he'll have to block.
I will block.
And I will not combo because that's the one that does not have the material, so he's probably just going to let that withdraw and die.
It still has one material, so it's still dual attack. So I'm actually going to combo it here and the tip I made earlier to 35.
All right. And then because I don't really have much else to do, let's go ahead and try keep digging. And that's a pretty good card if he wasn't going to probably discard my hand. So I'll pass turn after that.
All right, so it's our big turn. We get to do a lot of things here. So draw. This card's pretty irrelevant now. Just so we didn't get this out of here. We're winning this turn or not. So we're gonna go ahead and play this guy. See if it gets through.
All right, and well, I'll go ahead and reset my
Right,
stuff.
right.
Unfortunately, I do not have the God Ceiling, so
There's a couple plays we can do. But we're just gonna go ahead and activate this guy. On one, got a 17 in there. So only has 2 cards. I see Baby Hatchet in his yard. He's still gonna have a floodgate, but all the floodgates in his deck make me either sack energy or discard a card, which I have plenty of both. So it's not too terribly a big deal. So I can actually try to kill him flat with this. So I can just pressure his units in half. Um, we'll detach 2 here. We're not on this planet anymore, so a few cards in hand doesn't matter. Give my guy 5k crit. We'll attack you or something.
all right. So he's trying to pressure the user to drop it down so that I can't stop his Selzeno if he has it. Unfortunately, we're kind of forced to sparking the dimension magic and hope we can draw something useful. And unfortunately, that was not it. And he knows what's in my life, so he
Also,
knows
public
what the
card.
chance. He knows what chance if I have anything in life that's useful, but I do not.
Still put a card down here. Draw a couple cards. Unfortunately, there's a card at the bottom of our deck that we know about. We're gonna get to that in a minute. So we're gonna attack Unison with the small.
All
So
right.
we want to attack with this one first because it can't save itself. If we attack with this one and he removed the other one, this one will just have to go because it doesn't have enough materials. So you want to attack with the one that can't save itself, so that if he tries to get rid of the one that can't attack, we can still save it.
So this is kind of a. I'm in kind of a bad situation. I either bottom deck this and make sure I ignore the attack into 2 markers, and then he's going to kill it with this, or burst it. Basically, he's trying to force this to either die or not be able to bottom deck his Cells if he has it. And unfortunately, I kind of just have to let this one hit.
Uh, I'll restand. Attack with this.
And then again, same situation. I can try and remove the last 2 materials on that, which I'm going to have to, because this thing's dead either way. And then he's going to kill it. And if he's got Cells to Zeno, which is he's got the number 13, and that's game. I lose my 2 cards, and I can't defend that last attack.
So for what it's worth, there was a way that went really bad for me. One, he ditched Baby Hatch, which was kind of wild. But if he did have a floodgate, like if he could play Ready to Rumble there, I may have not had attacks to get through everything. Thought probably would have been enough, but with like a Dimension Magic or two, like he like drew double back to back negate on top of his Unison, it may have been really hard for me to get through there. Obviously, he would have still been in a terrible position and everything, and I still had a giant, guys in play. But it could have been rough there, but this time we got there.
Yeah, and I think the biggest mistake was maybe there's a chance where I don't play the turn one play and try and draw into the ICR. But at that point, if you don't ramp, then Cell's obviously just going to outvalue you and outgrind you.